As I look at Tia close up here, I get to make an assessment on stirrup length and decide if I'm going to change the angle. So this is about the angle of your thigh bone, right? And this is close to our 45 degrees. Please help us. But the biggest change we're going to need to make is to close the angle behind your knee, bring your foot back underneath you, and to make your foot much lighter in the stirrup. Okay? So I think you would have a fair amount of weight into your foot.
Now?
Would have done. I've just changed it here now. But you would in your normal pattern. Okay. Yeah? Have a fair amount of weight into your foot. And of course, we all get told, stretch your leg down, push your heel down. And doing that really implies that there should be a lot of weight in the foot. And our problem here actually boils down to Newton's third law of motion, which is that if you make a push down, you will experience an equal and opposite push up. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So as soon as you push down in the stirrup, what you tend to do is straighten your joints in a way that would send you up. So let me do an experiment with all of you. Unfold your legs, put your feet flat on the ground, and sit on your hands. And your bony little seat bones should become clear to you pretty soon here. Round your back. What happens to your seat bones? Where do they point? Forward. Okay. Hollow your back. What happens to your seat bones? They point back. Can you find the neutral place? So can you find the place where you feel on your hands they would point really clearly down? Okay. Now grow tall. So let's suppose you're a rider who's really been taught to grow tall. Grow tall. Really grow tall. Really, really, really tall. Where do your seat bones point when you grow tall? Okay. What happens to your chest? It lifts. What happens to your stomach? Comes out or sucks in? All right. Some of you might hang it out. More of you, I think, might suck it in. What happens to your chest? What happens to your breathing? Virtually stops. So I rather hope this is a good hard sell for not growing tall, right? So many people really have been taught to grow tall. And the more you go, lift your chest, lift your ribs, grow tall, right, the more you lose being in what we might think of as a martial arts posture. So if I put myself here as a martial artist, right, move my hands to here, and I'm a rider. This is pretty much neutral spine. Put me here as a martial artist, what would you think? Put my hands here and I'm a rider, what would you think? But I'm being really tall and I'm trying to be elegant and I'm sticking my chest out and I'm doing what so many riders do. And the rider who starts here and goes to the riding equivalent of not just here but here normally has quite an existential crisis. Because if the rider makes that change, how's the rider going to end up feeling? Scrunched, slouched. So one of the important things here is that whenever a rider makes a change in this kind of way with her body, the change will always feel bigger than it looks. So this is the same as you get an ulcer in your mouth or you lose a filling. It feels to your tongue like a huge, great yawning chasm. You look in the mirror and what do you see? The tiniest little blemish. It feels huge when it looks tiny, and that's equally true in any body change. So the rider who starts here and goes to here probably feels like she's here. The rider who starts leaning forward and goes to vertical probably feels like she's here. The rider who starts here and comes to vertical probably feels like she's here. Right? And I think the biggest reason why riders do not learn and improve in the way they could is their lack of willingness or not realization of just how big that change has to feel. Okay, let's see if we can halt you again here. Now that I have helped Tia to find neutral spine, I have my hands on her showing her how to bear down. To do this, she has to pull her stomach in to make a wall and then push her guts against that wall. Meanwhile, she has to keep her torso like a box, with the same length in her back and front, so bearing down must not distort the box. The pressure of my hands is giving her a wall to push her guts against and is testing her strength. This is how riders access core strength. So we could look at Tia here and go, if we bring your waistband back a little bit more, that's it, that's the right correction. How would she land on the riding arena? And I think we're pretty close to where she'd land on her feet.